Hello, everyone. I will share my screen, do a little bit of an introduction. That's right. So, I also have my co-founder here, and I will let her introduce herself, tell a little bit her experience, and maybe give her a little time to talk because on the past AMAs, she hasn't spoken yet. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Just to make sure you guys can see the campaign right now, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's correct.
One of the co-founders with Xcess. Oh, there's a little echo there. Hold on one second. Okay, it's gone. All right. Anyways, yeah, I'm one of the co-founders with Xcess. My background is I'm a serial entrepreneur from sort of the traditional Web 2 side of business, and making my way more and more into the Web 3. More recently, in my entrepreneurial adventures, I was really active in the cannabis CBD industry, starting around 2011. And in that experience, I got started with very little help, very little resources to get that business going. Obviously, it was an emerging industry. There was no standards, not a lot of practices. You couldn't go to college for the process, so everything became a self-learn. And I essentially from that I started solving problems in that industry. One of the big problems was high capacity manufacturing capabilities. Basically, distilling down the active ingredients that are in the plant and getting them into products. As I built that up, I slowly found myself merging with other business leaders, particularly in the supplement industry. By partnering up with them, we merged. Now, at this point, this was more on the CBD side because cannabis has still never really made it to the mainstream supply chains. But from there, we started building the company that accommodated to a lot of the major supplement brands. We help these brands get products on national distribution and items like that. And then as we were building that process up, we had to go through a lot of sourcing. And in that sourcing, we had to source things from like bottles, packaging, manufacturing equipment, all those things. And that's when I really started to get my experience in the supply chain. And this is all relevant. I'm trying to build this up to the actual project and not dig too much into other aspects of the industry. But I really started to get into the sourcing part, and it was it was very difficult. And even using Alibaba, we would go on Alibaba and try to buy manufacturing equipment, and it was quite a struggle, and we suffered. But as I kept working through that industry, we kept working through those sourcing channels. About 2018, I started to find myself a little less interested in the supplement world, the cannabis CBD world. And so for the next couple of years, I started transitioning my way out and working more into the tech side. I wanted to actually create more digital solutions. And then in that process, I started discovering things like blockchain, artificial intelligence. I got into Bitcoin mining for quite a while. And then more recently, I've started to learn how to actually get into the development side. And through the whole process of getting into the tech side and realizing there need to be digital solutions, and then taking my experience from the sourcing side, started to come up with this idea with Access to try to find other solutions. Now, our co-founder, who's actually my wife, actually has a much more robust experience in that, and we started, we started just discussing different options to try to increase that user experience or help with the supply chain. And so that's where we basically formulated this idea of Access. But before I actually jump into the actual business model, I'd like to have her jump on and she can maybe share her experience a little bit. But anyways, Victoria?
And no,
Yeah, there you go.
there's no camera. Just
There's no one there. Well, there is people there.
oh, but no
Okay.
camera.
Okay.
Okay. Hi everyone, it's Victoria Jensen, and I'm Dustin's partner for life and for work. So I've been actually I was born and grew up in China, and I came to US for my master degree in supply chain in 2005. Then after I graduated from USC, I've been focused actually in the supply chain in practice. So I was a purchasing manager and a director for importing company wholesaler in Los Angeles for I think I worked for that company more than 10 years, and recent years I help another company establish their US division, and I've been managing this company for the past 4 years. And then our revenue at the moment is over 100 million, and then the retailers we deal with are like Target, Home Depot, Costco. So if you are familiar with houseware stuff like plastic storage, we are the major supplier to that category. So throughout the years, since I'm very focused in this industry, and then I also for the past few years, Dustin and I always exchange experience and talking about the issues, and we realized that there's a lot of things in like improvement we can do in this industry, cutting costs, taking a lot of the added cost to the product by eliminating wholesaler. Uh, uh, that is one angle. And also we realized the sourcing part is pretty difficult. So Alibaba, and I mean, like you are just talking through emails or trying to get communication with another person, manufacturer overseas. It's quite difficult. So I actually personally helped Dustin source some product by just connecting him with the suppliers I know from China or different, mainly China, because I deal with most of the manufacturer suppliers in China. So I think we realized cutting the cost to land the product cheaper to the consumer's hand. E-commerce has achieved a lot in that area, and then but to source product directly to have the channel or resources for most of the consumers is still very difficult. And we feel um, the area that we want to focus on is high high value product, and we feel e-commerce won't achieve to give the high value product to consumers with the customized design, or when consumers trying to source directly from the manufacturer that they don't even face to face know each other, they are not very comfortable to source a product, and when the product show up at their doorstep is totally something different or the quality is way off. So we feel that area we can focus on and eventually even expand to wider range of products.
Yeah, no, great, thank you. Well, what I'll do is we kind of introduced ourselves and we started talking about some of the problems. Maybe some of the audience is quite not quite sure what we're presenting, what the problem is, but maybe kind of index that experience into your brain, and we'll kind of go through the actual product. So, like Victoria was saying, we're not necessarily trying to come and directly disrupt or transform the supply chain directly, as e-commerce has done a great job. I mean, we're not going to take credit away from those major companies, but what they have done is what they are missing is they're missing those high value products and those tailor made products. And what's also happened is even though they've helped e-commerce has helped with those small items, the other big problem we have, other than just e-commerce not supplying the high value products, is the inefficiency in the supply chain because of too many middlemen being in there. And that's obviously there's an issue with the supply chain because COVID presented that problem, right? When the pandemic happened and we just kind of threw a small wrench in there, the whole system fell apart. And the reason for that is there's too many middlemen. There's not enough transparency, and we are going to try to solve that problem. Now, we're going to solve the problem. And the way we're planning on solving this problem is through what we call the social supply chain. And it's very simple. Just to summarize it up, is we're going to eliminate the middlemen and get rid of all those unnecessary intermediators and all those unnecessary things, including the wholesalers and retailers. And we're going to sum it down to the key players that matter in a supply chain, which are the suppliers, buyers, and the logistic experts. I'll explain kind of what each of those are a little bit, but when we break it down to that, what we now have is a product network. And with a product network, we're saying that you're going to save as much as 80% plus on a product. And so, this could be a high value product, doesn't necessarily mean just a luxury product. It could be anything. It could be forklifts. It could be Persian rugs. It could be designer watches. It can be for this community, it could be Bitcoin mining computers. And when you form a product network, we're saying that hey, you're going to be able to save up to 80% on those products. And so that is our proposed solution for that. And so as you can see, the suppliers, the buyers, and the logistic experts. Before I kind of discuss what opportunity we're offering to the community, let me kind of explain the product network a little bit better. So we'll come down. Okay. So the backbone of the social supply chain is the product network, and it's very simple. Either one of the three users, it could be the buyer, it could be the supplier, or it could be the logistic experts, are able to create a product network. Now, a great way to visualize what a product network is just think of a shipping container full of products and having the necessary things to get that container full of material and to your doorstep. That's a product network. It's no more technical than that. The buyers, what they're doing is they're coming together as a collective to increase their buying power, because it sounds good to go, it sounds great to go direct to the supplier, but if you show up and you're asking to only spend $500, you're not going to get very far with them. But if the buyers can come together and use their collective buying power, then the supplier will actually be willing to join the network and supply that product. Now, that's not enough. There's a lot of complexity in that, and then you would need the logistic experts, which they handle, dealing with customs and the freight, dealing with um, in any of those logistical manners. And so one of the little side things, this isn't directly the business model, but the side thing that we have with the logistics experts is there's gonna when we start creating product networks, there's gonna be a lot of people out there that didn't even realize they're a logistic expert. And let me give you an example. When Uber started, a lot of people didn't know they could be a taxi cab driver until a platform and a technology was created to allow them to easily, be able to do that. And we're going to be providing that same thing to logistics experts. And what that's going to do is incentivize people to go out and find more suppliers, create more product networks, and keep growing that social supply chain. So let me give you a little bit of, I'll kind of share a little, um, uh, let's see, a situation. This is a real life situation in the power of the product networks. And I'm going to use Bitcoin mining computers. We basically, one of the buyers, well, you know what, actually, I'm actually not going to tell that story yet. What I want to do is I want to, uh, um, actually tell the story when I'm presenting what the opportunity is here, so you can kind of understand what the benefit of buying one of our NFTs would be. Um, but essentially, I'll tell you what the business model is. Is what we're doing is with those product networks, we're charging a transaction fee for those, and just for the sake of this, we're just going to say that's 10% of the value. Now, uh, those product networks could range anywhere from say 30,000 to $1 million plus. So if that's 10%, that means that those product networks will incur a fee of $3,000 to $100,000. And so now I'll tell you kind of the story with the Bitcoin mining computer. Is uh, we had a client that wanted to purchase about uh, well, they had a certain a certain amount of Bitcoin mine computers they wanted to purchase. When we quoted them, it ended up being about $250,000 for those Bitcoin mining computers. Before we were able to get them direct to the supplier, they were looking anywhere from up to double that cost, up to $500,000. So right away, by getting them connected directly to the supplier, we'd already saved them 50%. But also, but for doing that, what they did is they end up incurring a fee, right? And so if you take that 10% product network fee, $250,000, that person end up incurring $25,000 in fees to get those computers. So what's the opportunity that we're presenting? Well, we're basically presenting a lifetime discount on any of those kind of fees that occur. So we'll go to our main NFT, which is a founder pass, right? That founder pass would allow you to save 80% on that. So if you were actually the person purchasing the Bitcoin mining computers and you're going to uh, you were going to incur $25,000 in fees and you're able to save 80%, well, you just saved $20,000 on that purchase. Now, not everyone that would buy these NFTs may actually participate in a product network, but that's why we're offering annual voucher for like the founder pass. You're getting 5 of those annual vouchers that you could go and resell to another buyer, which they're going to be able to save 85%. So here's a scenario. This person is buying the Bitcoin mining computers. They come to buy it. They're going to incur this $25,000 charge, but they want to find a way to save on it. What they're going to do is they're going to go to the marketplace. They're going to find one of the NFTs that are for sale, and they're going to go bid for that NFT. When they buy this NFT from one of the vouchers from one of the founder passes, they're going to be able to save 80%, which is $20,000. So it's safe to say that that individual would pay anywhere from say ten to $15,000 for that voucher. Why wouldn't they, right? It's guaranteed to save them $20,000. The person that's selling them, the founder pass holder, well, they have 5 of those, and they paid $5,000 to receive 5 of those annual, right? So and that's a one-time investment that you're making, and in one transaction, which is a real live transaction, you could have sold that for $5,000 to $15,000. So that basically displays the overall upside of having a founder pass. Now, there's basically the overview. So before I continue, maybe we can see if there's any questions or just kind of maybe get some feedback on what people are thinking. Hello?
Hey, that's not good enough. No one will. Oh, I'm getting an echo. Can you guys hear me?
I can, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So now I've been taking some of the notes here, trying to get more of an idea exactly what it is you're trying to build here. And I'm starting to get it now. It's you're saying the product network is basically the backbone. And you have three different things that you try to tackle in order to get the synergy going, and that's the buyer, the supplier, and the logistic network. And then you're going into the NFTs right now that give you these annual passes. And like before this, like this explanation, I was having a hard time understanding what exactly the value of those vouchers can be. But that example is perfect because let's say you find someone that can bring in more money than that, then those vouchers can become even more valuable than just 5, 10,000, or even 15 because they can save someone else a lot more money. So that's a pretty good feature to the NFT. And I guess that was all I really wanted to say because it's been very clear after this. And also, Victoria, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's nice to hear Dustin's been bringing you up a lot, and it's nice to hear like the whole background about it and this whole team synergy. Like I love it, and we need more like that on Web3, and we're gonna help bring that.
Yeah, no. So, and I just want to emphasize when people are looking at that, it's not uh, with that founder pass. It's not that you're selling the founder pass your 80% to someone else. With that investment or that contribution of $5,000, you can hold that for a lifetime and just sell the vouchers, and those are going to be annual airdrop vouchers, and so you'll have 5 of those to sell. Now, obviously, I can't promise that every time you're gonna be able to sell a voucher for 10 or $15,000. Maybe you have 5 and you get a $2,000 transactions or $5,000 transactions. But the point I wanted to make is that was a real live transaction that happened. That wasn't an imaginary story, and so someone could have legitimately were in that scenario would have been able to sell that NFT. So just want to kind of clarify the perks on that. Oh. um Anyways, Victoria, did you have anything to kind of add to that? Maybe tell them, she was kind of given the experience, but there's a fascinating story. One is on, I want her to share 2 stories real quick. One is going to be on the inefficiencies of, so why we're creating the social supply chain in the first place. And then I also want her to share a story about her experience about people wanting to source products, because this is something that we've done in real life. Now, what we're trying to do is, instead of making it so manual, we're trying to use technology to be able to scale this up to worldwide. Because one thing to remember is this isn't a U.S. China thing, right? This could be someone from Brazil sourcing products in the Middle East, or vice versa. And so it's basically opening up this world of a social supply chain where people can just collaborate, right? But real quick, like I said, I was going to have her share a couple stories. First, you want to share that Target story about the waste?
Oh, you mean the destroy the product?
Destroy the product because of supply
Yeah.
chain issues.
Target is one of the biggest customer we deal with. When pandemic happened, all the demand went straight high, and suppliers cannot keep up. But at the end, when suppliers kept up with supplying product, and the demand go down, so we, as one supplier to Target, to one category of maybe, I would say, 50 items. We had 400 ocean containers sitting either in our yard, or at the trucker's yard, or at the port, at one day. Like, we have to unload, or we're gonna get penalized for keeping the containers for too long. So that was just one of, like, a huge bottleneck we had. And then it turns to be everything, majority of the product, they are for Target, for a seasonal promotion. And Target realized that the demand went down, so they are dealing with not just one supplier like us, they are dealing with thousands of suppliers. So a lot of the product they made a commitment to, so they had no choice but to either take the product or deal with the inventory. So as a result, they advised us to get rid of $1 million worth of product by just recycle them with the local recycle center, and then the capture basically the less than 5 to 10% of the product value from the recycling, and then the rest of the cost, Target just cut us a check. So that was just one example when supply chain had a inefficiency, and then caused retailers to deal with the problem, like the way I just described. And at the end, the consumer gonna end up paying um, the cost in a in in a way. Supply chain inefficiency, and then another thing is another story I told Dustin before is the product cost. So let's say one simple storage basket you might have next to you right now at home. Um, at Target they sell $4, but as a supplier um, we give to Target at less than $2, and Target pay for the domestic trucking and take to the store and then sell it. So we definitely give them less than half of the price they put in the store, but the cost of the product from the supplier is less than 50 cents. So with all of that, like, we can cut the chain shorter and then deliver the product to consumers' hand um, um, in a more efficient way. And then that $4 basket at Target could be just the $1.50 at the end. So I'm just using a very small example. We're talking about a basket $4, but we can talk about some furniture that you wanted to source maybe from Italy, some European countries, high quality, very um, um, you know cost high and high quality, maybe branded product from European countries. One of my friends just did that, and then she made a trip to Italy, and then she shopped in the manufacturer's showroom, and she handpicked the product and then put an ocean container together. Now it just showed up at her house, and then she told me she saved $60,000 just by doing that instead of buying the same product on the US market.
Yeah, she basically collaborated with people and put a product network together on that. I was telling people about that story because that Italian furniture is one that maybe people don't directly think about, right? And so,
Yeah.
the one thing I want to bring up is people are asking like, okay, that sounds really simple. Why didn't maybe the retailers or Amazon, people like that, start this way and maybe build a platform like this? And I guess the simple answer is in every business venture, timing is everything. So the timing is better now because the technology is actually available. I mean, just from a strictly and I know a lot of people on here, or a lot of people in this community are developers or understand that it wasn't necessary. The resources to actually develop a platform like this used to be pretty far out of reach, but now it's pretty simple. And then also with COVID, we determined that, hey, there is a broken supply chain. So combining the timing of being able to actually develop a product like this and also supply chain issues, that's why social supply chain is such a great business model. But what I'd like to do is to jump over and discuss a little bit the relationship with JumpStart and Xcess and how that kind of got started. Ty, are you there?
Sure am.
All right. Well, I figure it's a good time to kind of discuss what that relationship has been, and maybe you can tell the story best about how that all got started. So maybe I'll let you tell that story.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, so again, nice to meet you as well, Victoria. Project sounds amazing. The concept of Xcess I think Dustin came to us and actually pitched me and Felly here with a pitch deck and everything, and he pitched it to us as a Web2 company. And it was just the perfect concept. I mean, immediately, during the pitch, I was able to really clearly see the value. It's a pretty obvious problem. Like they noted, the supply chain is a massive issue, and has extremely, serious consequences. So really, really awesome problem to solve. And I definitely think the supply chain is probably one of the last, uh, industries that's kind of underdeveloped in terms of software, like you're saying. And so, nobody's tapped this yet. Nobody's gotten to this. Nobody's thought to, first of all, solve the issue, because you can't just build, like, for different things. You can just whip out and build software, but to build software that solves the issue of supply chain, you got to have inside knowledge like you guys do. So that makes sense. But yeah, you guys came to us, and it was just a Web2 platform, and we were trying to show them JumpStart, and help them realize how they can kind of integrate Web3, very easily, and almost in a way that makes a lot of sense. And so, after talking with us and the team, we figured out a way to integrate NFTs and use JumpStart to kind of launch this project and bring it to the community. And we think it's just kind of a really good template and a really good model and example for other Web2 companies that want to launch NFTs and integrate Web3, and realize the value of building out new products and startups, with the Web3 community and technology. But yeah, I really love it because it's basically, these passes are awesome. Right, let me share my screen. So you got these passes. First of all, I mean, you're simply building a social network that basically that creates these, what you guys are calling product networks, where people can, buyers and suppliers can come together on high value products and create these networks to exchange goods easily through your app. And they're already incurring massive fees. So by, you guys are going to be having such high value transactions and collecting fees, that offering an NFT that gives you a discount provides massive value to the people who own them. And this concept of printing vouchers, yeah, I think it's a really good idea. And it's a good way to give value to your early contributors without giving them revenue share, without giving them, without becoming a security. And let them realize kind of upside potential more quickly than, like you were saying, I think on a past talk, of having to wait until you guys kind of exit or sell or get to a liquidity event. They can, as soon as you guys get a product network, which, like you guys, I think you were saying, you could possibly, you've already made one, but you could possibly have MVP product networks going live, this summer. So yeah, I think it's a pretty awesome deal.
No, I mean, yeah, that's like we are saying, that basically our relationship was that bridge, right? That Web2 to Web3 bridge. I know these NFTs are not your typical value proposition that the community usually sees, so I know it's tough to see, but I think the value proposition is just as equally as good, because I mean, there's a massive upside, and we've been able, basically by us creating these vouchers, we're able to offer the community a huge upside potential without directly attaching this to our revenue model, which I know in the Web3 that's very common in these projects. But when you in traditional business, you can't start attaching people to your revenue model, where it's going to be impossible to raise those later rounds of capital that you have to raise. Those the traditional investors, they don't want to see royalties, they don't want to see stuff baggage to the revenue model. And then also equity. Well, equity obviously is very difficult because you get into the regulatory landscape. And I know typically when people invest in companies, say if you go to a typical crowdfunding site and you invest in a equity crowdfunding site, you're when you invest in those sites, you get equity. The problem is it could take several years or never to get the value out of that equity, because it isn't that you're going to be getting dividends on that on a monthly basis because you invest in the company. The company could be profitable, but until those companies sell or have an IPO, that equity will hold very little value to you. So what we are presenting here is a way that you can instantly get that value out of the company as it's scaling. So as Xcess is growing to a bigger company, you actually have something that you can sell right into the marketplace and get that value out of it, because those vouchers that you have will grow in value as the product network values grow, and as the platform grows, your value of your vouchers are also going to grow. So real quick, I'm going to have Victoria just say goodbye. She's got to get going. So and then we'll just kind of continue this.
Thank you so much, guys. Very nice meeting you.
Bye, Victoria.
Bye, Victoria.
Bye.
And so yeah, I'll just kind of on that. So and just so you know, so the community knows, I know it's tough because we don't have product network. So people are like, "That's great. I invested in this. I now have an NFT and I got these vouchers, but there's no product networks." Well, on that, I want to share that we do these have these transactions happen in the background in a manual way, and so we just haven't put it on an actual platform where it's an automated process. What we've been working, but what we do have is we've got several suppliers already across China and a few other, a few other parts of the world that are already ready to come onto the platform and present potential products. I'm even discussing with a contract manufacturer, which basically contract manufacturer is someone that has a factory and they can do a lot of custom things, and they do a lot of electronics. And we were just discussing Web3 type hardware that could be presented. And so these are actual manufacturers we're discussing. So by the summer, we'll be posting product networks that people are going to be able to join. Some of these are going to be Web3 based. There'll definitely be a robust offering of mining equipment, as far as whether it's Bitcoin mining or your other type of tokens out there that have a proof of work model to it. We're going to have that kind of stuff available. So this community would be able to Bill appreciate some of those item as well.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I just want to mention as well, with this opportunity, the one thing that's cool with JumpStart campaigns is that you can support, you can contribute, and even if Xcess or any campaign doesn't reach their goal, the money's going to be returned to you with smart contracts. So it's pretty much no risk to contribute to a project that looks interesting, like Xcess. And we definitely want to try to do a good job of supporting projects that are trying to solve real world problems, because that's in the long run, that's going to push the space forward. That's going to keep us here more. That's going to keep us around longer, and just keep our community safe. So yeah, definitely check it out. Look into it. If you got any questions, I think we got a list of questions. We can start rattling them off, Dustin, or if the community has anything in the channels. I can't see anything like that, but
yeah, no, I definitely we can definitely start answering some of the questions. Are they in the, let me see.
Okay. So
Maybe are you asking how we're gonna get people to jumpstart and continue to raise the funds?
Yes, exactly.
What we're trying to do, and so just to have complete transparency with the community, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring more of these traditional kind of traditional Web2 companies to Web3 and raise money through NFTs, and not and not in a way like you see with like Porsche, because Porsche literally just released an art-based NFT with their car on there, right? That doesn't really have any utility. We're talking like real utility where we're attaching a true value to it. So what are some of the struggles that we're having now? Well, one is this is a traditional Web2 company, and the campaign that we're doing on Jumpstart is not, this isn't meant to be our actual capital raise. We're actually talking to traditional funds and your typical Web2 investors to actually launch this, because we're gonna have to raise a lot more than what the campaign is of $25,000. Um, but the with that, but what we're trying to do with this is we're trying to create a way, a unique. It's just we're trying to create a unique way to kind of get things started to start growing the community. Like this campaign's not meant to necessarily fund the project directly. What it's meant to do is start building a community around the project that's invested, so that there's real feedback. There's a real social aspect. Because the getting feedback from people all over the place that have nothing invested into the company, to me is just, it's not really that valuable. But if we've got people early on that are invested into the company and invested into this network, then I know that feedback is going to be real value, because they hold something that they want to grow in value. And so it's a great way for us to build that community, start building our network, and start promoting it. But the struggle that I'm having is we're trying to also bring the people that I know from the traditional business side over and say, hey, come check out the platform, come check out the NFT, come contribute. And the problem is there's a lot of people that maybe would want to get involved, but they don't know the first thing about connecting wallets. They don't know the first thing about Web3. To them, it's just very confusing, doesn't make sense, and it just causes them to just not really get much engaged. I struggle to get much engagement, right? And so that's a struggle. Now on the other side, I'm also at the same time trying to get the Web3 community to see the value in this NFT. But the community is just very used to, you know, the the type of projects that are out there that have white papers and have these, great UIs and uh, all these graphics and these gaming graphics and stuff like that, and there's just some sort of tokenomics model or some sort of model behind it that essentially just becomes you're trying to build buzz and community, but a lot of this stuff is just pump and dump stuff that has zero utility, no real world value. And that's not meant to be like an insult, because there's a lot of real. Jumpstart is a platform with real world value. That's a shining light in the Web3 community, is something like Jumpstart. But there's a huge struggle connecting the two. I'm struggling to get traditional people to support an NFT project, and I'm struggling to get Web3 people to see the value in these vouchers, because they're not seeing they're not seeing a white paper and they're not seeing tokenomics, and so it's just hard to understand like why for them to do it. But that's why we're here, and so that's the whole point of this first campaign, is to relentlessly connect those dots and bridge that gap. And the reason we need to bridge that gap is because I think the Web2 community can benefit from the ecosystem that's been built in Web3 to engage their existing audience. This could be any of those brands like Porsche or Nike, Starbucks, whoever decides, or even the smaller lifestyle brands to jump in. I think it's great for them to adopt this ecosystem, but it's also great for the Web3 people to start accepting models like this, because if you want this industry to really grow from a few $1 billion and go to that really large scale where you're getting into the $100 billion market caps of an industry, and really grow and everyone see their projects grow, we gotta find a way to bridge this gap. We gotta break down this communication barrier. Like a simple example is between a pitch deck and a white paper. People ask me for a white. I don't have a white paper, but I have a pitch deck, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's telling you the ins and outs of instead of tokenomics, we have user acquisition models, and we have P&Ls, and we have expenses and human capital investments, and cap tables. And so that's we got basically the idea here is we got to bridge that gap.
Hey, Dustin, I want to add to that, to what you were saying, because I've basically been going through the same thing. I did a campaign myself, and none of my friends or family actually got in. Every time I try to explain to them, like, I'm doing a crowdfund through an NFT, they're like, yeah, but aren't NFTs like just, I heard they're just like a scam. Like, basically, they got a bad reputation from what they hear on TV. So they don't really understand what the power of NFT is. I had to sit down with like a friend and I talked to him for like an hour at least. And I was like, look, I need you to not think about the image behind it, but start to understand this is an NFT that actually gives you something back. Unlike the other ones, people are just buying it because they like the shiny teeth, they like the background. Like that has no value. Like it's basically given the NFT technology a bad name. And companies like this is really that's going to change it, like give it more reputable stuff and campaigns that actually give back. There's distribution or something that the person who's purchasing doesn't feel like they're just getting a piece of art that might have been generated and just sits on their wallet. And then the second thing to what you're saying is I do see the gap where we have the traditional crypto people that every time they're investing in something, they, like you're saying, they want to see a white paper, they want to hear tokenomics, they want to hear what the ROI, when Lambo type of stuff, like these type of things that they don't really understand. When something like this comes along, like what's the best route, and maybe that's why they're not as attracted to it. However, I'm right there with you where it's like we really need to start bridging it, because it's, eventually it's going to be in their face. They're not going to be able to ignore NFTs with utility anymore, because there's a lot of companies are adopting the technology and they're big name. And then soon enough, and this one's on Matic as well, right? Your campaign.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch the last. What was that last question?
Is your campaign's on Matic, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's one of the big like blockchains that I see right now, integrating the NFT technology with actual utility behind it. And they're big names, and that's why, like, if you need any help with trying to get those people to, figure out a wallet or any of that stuff, feel free to contact me anytime, because that's what I love to do, is really just onboard people and help them understand like what the technology is versus like what those terms is. Like I don't really even like to use crypto as a term. I always would prefer to use blockchain, because that's what we're here for. Is not for this whole phase. It's like if you understand the technology, then that can reach far beyond the reach that we can with any traditional like tool we have right now.
1,000,000,000% agree. But hey guys, we only got about 7 minutes left on the stream, so let's try to. Dustin, you want to give some final words, and then I'll just give a quick update, and then we can wrap up this call.
Well, yeah, I kind of in that last little bit there, I kind of gave what my final words would be, is about us coming together and to try to bridge this. I guess what my final words would be is this idea of a utility based, or maybe not even just utility, but a real value proposition from an NFT, meaning there's a real value attached to it in what we call like a real world product or a non-digital product. And I think that I think the community should start really understanding this, because I know with JumpStart, this is the first, like Tyler, you're saying, this is a template, and this is, the first round, but this is the first of many, many projects that are going to come to JumpStart, and many more that are going to come and present this. And so, I really just challenge the community to try to really look at this project, look at the value, and you want people to understand connecting wallets and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people in the community come from traditional backgrounds. I mean, most of us have to, because that was what was there. But I just want to challenge the people that are, for the last few years have only invested in your typical Web3 projects, to look at this and make a jump and support this project, so that we can continue to bring these kind of projects, to the community and really grow that market cap. I mean, this is a start. This is a start of a new wave for the industry, and this is just a great template. And so we really, my call to action is we're really looking for support to prove out this particular model of NFTs.
Heck yeah, awesome, love it. Yeah, so this is great, Dustin. Guys, check out Xcess. Appreciate it, Dustin. We're gonna keep moving with this thing. We're gonna support you guys, and yeah, if you need anything, let me know. Looks like there's 15 days left on this campaign. They've got $1,000 needed of 25,000, so needed 24 more $1,000 for us to be successful. I know I've been talking with you, Dustin, and I mean, even if this thing doesn't reach cap, Xcess is still going forward. So we'll be hearing from you guys for sure. And yeah, good luck, and let's see if we can support these guys.
Great.
Yeah. So we got 5 minutes left. Sorry, the thing's about to kick us off. We're using Google Meets today, so we tried a new thing, but it's telling us we got 4 minutes before it shuts down the program. So I just wanted to give a quick general update on Sidekick and let everybody kind of know how things are going. And things are going well. Things are going really well. Everyone's really excited over here internally. And a couple little quick bullet points. We raised over $110,000 in the first 60 days of JumpStart operation. So that was pretty awesome. We've launched 5 different projects, and looks like they're averaging about 30K each. So, about 30K raises our sweet spot for our initial projects. We're actually working on multiple partnerships right now. We just announced a partnership with PFP DAO, which is an NFT artist design company. And one of the big things from that partnership is that JumpStart, we're seeing a lot of guys come in and they're going to need NFT artists. And so we're going to do our best to, kind of be a social supply chain. We want to help get the artists in touch with projects that need artwork for their NFTs. And so that's going to be a really big thing for us moving forward. And we have other partnerships in the works. We signed an agreement with a company called Morpheus. They are a gaming guild based in Singapore. And so there's lots of cool synergies happening and coming up with Sidekick. We got lots of guys reaching out, and we're going to be doing our best. One of our main key focuses of this year is going to be going out and trying to secure more partnerships to spread the word and make sure people know about our tools. I mean, every time we sit down with someone and show them JumpStart, they like it. Not one person has not liked it. So we're doing our best to just tailor it, add more features, and just tweak it to give it, just to make it as useful as possible for our users. With that being said, we actually did launch on some new chains. We actually just went live on Arbitrum, Avalanche, and also Empire Network, which is one of our ERC Elite token, brethren, Empire Network over there. So there's going to be some official announcements with that coming soon, but we did launch on those. Those guys are live, which is awesome. Arbitrum's getting a lot of heat. Arbitrum's getting a lot. It's coming up pretty quickly and strongly. Avalanche is pretty strong. So excited to be on those chains. We got some really awesome features coming out in the next month. We're going to announce everything. Things are moving very quickly. And if you don't hear from us, I think one thing Felly says, like, when you don't hear from us, just know things are happening. And, every single day there's stuff going down, meetings being lined up, and we're going to be doing our best. So we brought Sasha on board. She's here on this meeting today. Sasha's our new head of marketing. And so she's going to be helping us out a lot and trying to organize us and make sure that the marketing keeps running strong and everything's moving on the front end while I kind of move back to the back end and keep moving on this product. So, yeah, all in all, just, state of Sidekick and JumpStart is that everything is extremely strong. We definitely weathered the bear market, in a way I'm super, super proud of. And so, really excited to be here with everyone that's here. And man, if this is where we're at after the, the worst bear market, in the last 5 years, I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, it's going to be an exciting year and years to come. And, we're just getting started. I look around, I don't see anybody with our tech yet. There's a lot of people trying to do what we're doing. There's a lot of people doing similar things, but no one has what we're doing right now. And we're going to keep moving on it. So, yeah, awesome stuff all around. And appreciate everybody sticking with us.